The night sky over Cape Canaveral lit up with an otherworldly glow as the alien vessel descended from the heavens. Its sleek obsidian hull reflected the flickering lights of the Space Force base below, a gleaming monolith amidst the sprawling launch complexes and towering gantries. In the mission control room, a hush fell over the assembled personnel as they watched the ship settle onto the landing pad with uncanny grace. President Sofia Martinez leaned forward in her chair, her brow furrowed with a mix of awe and apprehension. She turned to NASA Administrator Dr. Emilio Vasquez, seeking answers in his astonished expression. "What do we know about them?" she asked, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. Dr. Vasquez shook his head slowly, his eyes never leaving the monitors displaying the alien craft. "Very little, Madam President. They appeared out of nowhere, requesting permission to land. Their message was brief but clear. They require assistance." The room buzzed with nervous energy as analysts and military advisors murmured amongst themselves, speculating about the visitors' intentions and capabilities. General Alexis Thompson, the chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, leaned in to address the president. "We should proceed with caution, ma'am," she advised, her tone grave. "We have no way of knowing their true motives or the extent of their technology. They could pose a significant threat." President Martinez nodded, absorbing the general's words. She knew that the decisions made in the coming hours would have far-reaching consequences for not only her nation, but for all of humanity. With a deep breath, she stood, her gaze sweeping across the room. "We will approach this situation with both openness and vigilance," she declared, her voice ringing with authority. "We have an opportunity here to learn, to grow, and perhaps to forge a new path for our species. But we will not do so blindly or recklessly." She turned back to Dr. Vasquez, her eyes alight with determination. "Assemble a team of our best scientists, diplomats, and security personnel. We will meet with these visitors face to face, hear their story, and assess their needs and intentions. The future begins now." As the room erupted into action, President Martinez allowed herself a moment of quiet reflection. She knew that the road ahead would be fraught with challenges and uncertainties, but she also knew that humanity had a chance to redefine its place in the universe, and she would do everything in her power to ensure that they seized that chance wisely and boldly. The alien ship loomed on the monitors, a silent sentinel bearing the weight of 1,000 questions. Its arrival had set in motion a chain of events that would forever alter the course of human history, for better or for worse. And so it began, an unexpected encounter that would lead humanity down a path it had never before dared to dream possible. The universe had come knocking, and Earth was about to open the door to a new era of discovery, diplomacy, and destiny. As the alien delegation disembarked from their vessel, a sense of tense anticipation gripped the gathered human representatives. The extraterrestrial beings were tall and lithe, their skin a shimmering, iridescent blue. They moved with a fluid grace that seemed to defy the laws of physics, their movements both captivating and unsettling. President Martinez stepped forward, flanked by Dr. Vasquez and General Thompson. She drew herself up to her full height, a show of quiet strength and confidence. "Welcome to Earth," she said, her voice carrying across the still air of the landing pad. "I am President Sofia Martinez, and on behalf of all humanity, I extend to you our greetings and our hospitality." The lead alien, a towering figure with piercing violet eyes, inclined its head in acknowledgement. "I am Ambassador Xirax of the Galactic Confederation," it replied, its voice a melodic, multi-toned resonance that seemed to vibrate through the very air. "We come in peace, seeking aid and alliance." Over the next several hours, the human and alien delegations engaged in a delicate dance of diplomacy and negotiation. The aliens spoke of their damaged ship, of the vital resources they needed to make repairs and continue their journey. They offered in exchange a tantalizing glimpse of their advanced technology, propulsion systems that could traverse the stars in mere days, energy sources that could power entire cities with a single device, medical breakthroughs that could cure even the most intractable diseases. The human representatives listened, their minds racing with the implications of such an exchange. Some, like Dr. Vasquez, saw the potential for a new era of scientific discovery and advancement. Others, like General Thompson, harbored deep reservations about the risks of sharing Earth's resources and knowledge with an unknown alien power. As the discussions wore on, President Martinez found herself at the center of a maelstrom of conflicting opinions and agendas. The nations of the world clamored for a say in the proceedings, each seeking to secure their own interests and advantages. Factions within her own government pushed for a harder line, urging caution and restraint in the face of the alien overtures. But in the end, it was the president's decision to make. And as she looked into the eyes of Ambassador Xirax, she saw not just an alien being, but a reflection of humanity's own hopes and fears. She saw a chance to forge a new path, to reach beyond the confines of their small blue world and grasp at something greater. "We accept your offer," she said at last, her voice steady and clear. "Earth will provide the resources you require, in exchange for a sharing of knowledge and technology that will benefit all of humanity. Let this be the beginning of a new era of cooperation and understanding between our peoples." The alien delegation inclined their heads in gratitude, and the two sides set to work hammering out the details of the agreement. It was a momentous occasion, a turning point in human history. But even as they celebrated this new alliance, there were those who looked to the future with trepidation, wondering what price humanity might ultimately pay for its newfound place in the galactic community. For now, however, there was hope and possibility in the air. The universe had opened its doors to humanity, and they had chosen to step through into a new and uncharted realm of discovery and destiny. The road ahead would be long and uncertain, but it was a road they would walk together, human and alien alike, into a future that held both promise and peril in equal measure. The Galactic Trading Hub. In the years that followed the historic agreement between Earth and the Galactic Confederation, humanity found itself swept up in a whirlwind of change and progress. The alien technology that flowed into human society transformed every aspect of life, from energy production and transportation to medicine and communications. At the heart of this new era was the burgeoning trade relationship between Earth and the wider galaxy. The aliens' need for resources, particularly the rare minerals and compounds found only on Earth, had turned the planet into a crucial hub of interstellar commerce. Massive ships from 100 different worlds descended upon the newly constructed spaceports, their holds filled with exotic goods and technologies that humanity had never before imagined. The influx of alien visitors and the demands of the galactic market reshaped Earth's economies and societies in profound ways. New industries sprang up overnight, dedicated to the extraction and processing of the resources that the aliens so desperately needed. Fortunes were made and lost in the blink of an eye, as entrepreneurs and corporations scrambled to capitalize on the new opportunities. But not everyone on Earth was thrilled with the changes wrought by the Alien Alliance. As the planet's resources were increasingly diverted to the galactic trade, some began to question the long-term sustainability and fairness of the arrangement. Environmental activists warned of the toll that the relentless mining and drilling was taking on the planet's delicate ecosystems, while labor advocates decried the exploitative conditions in many of the new resource extraction industries. Political tensions also simmered beneath the surface, as nations jockeyed for position and influence in the new interstellar order. Some saw the Alien Alliance as a means to assert their dominance on the galactic stage, while others feared that Earth was becoming overly dependent on the whims and demands of its extraterrestrial partners. Amidst this backdrop of social and political upheaval, President Martinez found herself walking the delicate tightrope. She knew that the trade relationship with the Galactic Confederation had brought immense benefits to humanity, but she also recognized the growing unease and discontent among her people. She worked tirelessly to balance the competing interests and agendas, striving to ensure that Earth's integration into the galactic community was as equitable and sustainable as possible. But even as she fought to maintain stability and prosperity at home, President Martinez could sense that greater challenges loomed on the horizon. The Galactic Confederation was a vast and complex entity, with its own internal politics and power struggles. Earth, for all its newfound importance, was still a relatively small player on the galactic stage, and there were those who would seek to exploit its vulnerabilities and dependencies for their own gain. As Earth's spaceports hummed with the constant comings and goings of alien ships, and its cities glittered with the lights of 1,000 new technologies, humanity stood at a crossroads. They had opened the door to the universe, and in doing so, had set in motion a chain of events that would test their resilience, their unity, and their very identity as a species. The galactic trading hub that Earth had become was a symbol of both progress and peril, a shining beacon of possibility, but also a reminder of the dangers that lurked in the shadows of the stars. And as humanity navigated this brave new world, they would need all their ingenuity, determination, and courage to chart a course towards a future that was truly their own. The price of progress. As Earth's role as a galactic trading hub grew, so too did the strains and tensions that threatened to tear the delicate fabric of human society apart. The rapid pace of change and the influx of alien influences had left many feeling disconnected and adrift, struggling to find their place in a world that seemed to be leaving them behind. In the sprawling megacities that had sprung up around the spaceports, the divide between the haves and the have-nots became ever more stark. Those who had managed to capitalize on the new opportunities lived in glittering towers and gated enclaves, their lives a whirlwind of alien luxuries and high-tech indulgences. But in the shadows of these oases of wealth, vast slums and shantytowns teemed with the dispossessed and the desperate, those who had been left behind by the march of progress. Environmental degradation also took an increasingly heavy toll, as the relentless demand for Earth's resources left swaths of the planet scared and barren. The once lush rainforests of the Amazon and the Congo had been reduced to a patchwork of mines and drilling sites, their biodiversity sacrificed on the altar of interstellar commerce. The oceans, too, bore the scars of humanity's newfound place in the galaxy, their waters choked with the toxic runoff of alien factories and the debris of crashed starships. Amidst this backdrop of social and ecological upheaval, political unrest began to ferment. Rebel groups and resistance movements sprang up across the globe, united in their opposition to what they saw as the selling out of Earth's heritage and future. Some fought for environmental justice, others for workers' rights and economic equality, still others for a return to traditional human values and ways of life. As the unrest grew, so too did the specter of violence and conflict. Protests and strikes erupted in cities across the planet, sometimes turning into full-scale riots and uprisings. The forces of law and order, both human and alien, struggled to maintain control as the fabric of society threatened to unravel completely. President Martinez found herself increasingly beleaguered, her administration beset by crises on all fronts. She worked tirelessly to bridge the divides and heal the wounds that threatened to tear humanity apart, but the forces arrayed against her were formidable. There were those within her own government who sought to exploit the chaos for their own gain, while others pushed for an even deeper embrace of the alien alliance, heedless of the costs. But the final blow came from an unexpected quarter. A rogue faction within the Galactic Confederation, long opposed to the alliance with Earth, launched a surprise attack on one of the planet's largest spaceports. The assault was swift and brutal, leaving thousands dead and the port in ruins. And as the smoke cleared, it became clear that this was no isolated incident, but rather the opening salvo in a wider campaign to destabilize and subjugate humanity. In the face of this new and terrifying threat, President Martinez found herself faced with an impossible choice: to stand and fight, risking everything in a war that humanity might not be able to win, or to seek a negotiated peace, even if it meant sacrificing the hard-won gains of the past decades. As the world held its breath, the president weighed her options, the fate of her species hanging in the balance. She knew that the decisions she made in the coming days would shape the course of human history for generations to come. and that the price of progress, once paid, could never be undone. The Galactic Confederation had offered humanity the stars, but it had also brought with it unforeseen dangers and complications. And now, as the dream of a unified and prosperous Earth threatened to crumble beneath them, humans realized how fragile their ascent had truly been. Hope for the future, but also the profound burden of responsibilities, the need to forge an ethical, equitable model of growth and cooperation both within and beyond humanity, as Earth now stood at a pivot point, its fate inextricably tied to the complex currents of the wider cosmos. Revelations and resolutions. In the aftermath of the attack on the spaceport, a stunned and reeling humanity struggled to come to terms with the new reality of their place in the galaxy. President Martinez, her face lined with grief and exhaustion, addressed the nation and the world, her words a somber reflection of the challenges that lay ahead. "We have learned a hard lesson," she said, her voice heavy with emotion. "The universe is vast and full of wonders, but it is also home to dangers and forces beyond our understanding. We must confront the fact that our alliance with the Galactic Confederation, for all the benefits it has brought, has also made us vulnerable in ways we never could have imagined." As the president spoke, the full scope of the conspiracy against Earth began to come into focus. The rogue faction within the Confederation, it turned out, was no mere splinter group, but rather a powerful cabal with deep roots in the galactic power structure. Their goal was nothing less than the subjugation of humanity, the transformation of Earth into a vassal state under their control. But even as this grim reality sank in, there were glimmers of hope on the horizon. From across the Confederation, other races and factions stepped forward to condemn the attack and offer their support to Earth. These were the true allies of humanity, the ones who saw in the people of Earth kindred spirits and partners in the great galactic endeavor. President Martinez, seizing on this outpouring of solidarity, began to forge a new coalition of like-minded races and worlds. Together, they worked to expose the true nature of the cable and its designs, shining a light on the corruption and deceit that had allowed it to flourish in the shadows. At the same time, the President and her allies knew that the road to a truly just and equitable future for Earth would not be an easy one. The social and environmental damage wrought by the years of unchecked growth and exploitation could not be undone overnight, and there were many within the human power structure who remained deeply invested in the status quo. But slowly, painfully, a new consensus began to emerge, a recognition that Earth's future lay not in the blind pursuit of profit and power, but rather in a more balanced and sustainable approach to growth and development. This was the true price of progress, the hard-won wisdom that could only be gained through struggle and sacrifice. As the galactic community watched, humanity began to chart a new course. The spaceports and trade hubs remained, but now they were governed by new laws and agreements designed to ensure that the benefits of galactic commerce were shared equitably among all. The ravaged landscapes of Earth, too, began to heal, as a new generation of leaders and activists worked to restore the planet's biodiversity and beauty. And at the center of it all stood President Martinez, a beacon of hope and resilience in a galaxy full of uncertainty. She knew that the road ahead would be long and hard, that there would be setbacks and challenges at every turn. But she also knew that the people of Earth had within them the strength and the vision to build a better future, a future in which they could take their rightful place among the stars, not as subservient vassals, but as equal partners in the great galactic dance. As the president looked out over the rebuilding world, she felt a sense of pride and purpose that she had never known before. The universe had tested them, had pushed them to the brink of destruction. But in the end, humanity had proven itself equal to the challenge. They had looked into the abyss, and they had not flinched. And now, as a new dawn rose over the Earth, the people of this small blue world stood ready to face whatever the future might bring, united in their determination to build a galaxy that was not just prosperous, but truly just and free. The age of humanity's galactic awakening had begun, and though the road ahead would be long and uncertain, one thing was clear: the universe would never be the same again. For better or for worse, the people of Earth had taken their first steps into a larger cosmos, and there could be no turning back now, only forward, into the unknown and the undiscovered, into a future that was theirs to shape and to make their own.